Republican Congressman Pat Fallon from Texas. He sits on the House Armed Services Committee. Sir, thank you for giving us your time on this Saturday. We appreciate it. I want to get your thoughts. The president believes that there's some paperwork there in Tehran, that they have something to look at, and that he's hopeful. Your thoughts?
Well, no, I share the president's optimism to some degree because he's giving them a very fair proposal in Tehran. And they're saying, look, there's a carrot and a stick, and the president wants to give you the carrot. And we can lift, in return for you stop and ceasing to pursue your nuclear program and allowing inspections, as President Reagan used to say, trust but verify. We can lift sanctions and Iran can move towards economic prosperity for their people. But do they want to do that? And the president, again, is going to hold them accountable. I mean, Molly, under Joe Biden, they were selling $43 billion a year in oil on the international market. Under President Trump in his final year in office in the first term, it was only just under $8 billion. So you can cause a lot more mayhem and mischief when you have $35 billion additional dollars. So President Trump is not going to let that happen any longer.
Yeah, that's a great point. President Trump gave this wide-ranging interview with Bret Baier on Special Report earlier this week. He touched on Iran. He has consistently talked about the consequences that could come if they don't eventually get there. Take a listen.
We're going to have a solution one way or the other. It's either going to be violent or not violent. And I far prefer nonviolent. I don't want it to be a violent thing, but they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
He's talked about, the possibility of even trading with Iran. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, right now, they're the largest state sponsor of terror in the world. We do not want the largest state sponsor of terror in the world to have a nuclear weapon. When they consistently call for wiping out another nation state, that being Israel. So it's not just us that won't stand for a nuclear Iran, but the Israelis as well. And they can act independently. So I think it's better for the Iranian people, everyone in that region, and of course, here at home in the States, to have a deal where we can work together. We don't need to. We can coexist. President Trump sees that. I hope the mullahs in Iran see it as well.
All right, switching gears a little bit, Congressman. Some of your Republican colleagues on the House Budget Committee blocked the big, beautiful bill from advancing on Friday, and they are, set to take this all up again tomorrow, that everyone gets back to work. What do you think? Could there be a problem getting everyone on the same page here?
Well, Molly, yesterday I had 2 teeth pulled, hence the swollen cheek. And Congress is a lot like that, going to the dentist. It's like pulling teeth when you need to get 218 Republicans to agree on anything. I think we can get there because the consequences are really disastrous. If we don't agree and pass a reconciliation bill, then 90% of American households are going to experience a tax increase. And on average, it's going to be about $1,700. And people are struggling right now, and they don't need an additional $1,700 taken out of their paychecks. So really, the alternative, I get it. I mean, I want to cut spending as well. I want to work towards balancing the budget and reducing the debt to GDP ratio. So the only way to do that is we agree. So I'm hopeful when the Budget Committee meets on Sunday that we can get there. Maybe they get a slightly, increased some cuts that will grow a little bit. That's great. But we have to do something. We have to do it now.
All right. Some developing news now on Ukraine and Russia. The president, President Trump, just revealing via Truth Social that he will speak to Russian President Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky on Monday morning. Are you optimistic? Is this the way forward?
It's a great question. Again, I like the fact that President Trump has bold leadership. I think if Kamala Harris had won, she would have just done what Joe Biden did, which was this slow war of attrition that does not benefit Ukraine. Ukraine has just over 40 million people, and Russia has 4 times that, 160 million. So, and they have more access. They have a larger economy. So, a war of attrition favors Russia, and Putin knows that. So again, it's a carrot and the stick issue. I think, and I suspect, I haven't talked to the president directly about Ukraine, that he's going to tell Putin, look, I want to make a deal. You're probably the best deal you're going to get is going to be for me. But if you don't do it, I'm going to have to go to the stick again and, arm the Ukrainians to the teeth. The Russians have already lost, staggering amounts of men and materiel. So it, again, behooves everyone to get a ceasefire and then get a peace deal done.
Yeah, and the president has said that he's willing to meet with Putin, so we shall see what comes in the weeks and the months ahead. Congressman Pat Fallon, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate your insights.
Thanks, Molly. God bless.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.